Hello, today is April 10th, 2021. My name is Larissa Torres. I'm interviewing Alejandro Paz for the University Library Special Collections and Archives at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, or UTRGV. This project is in partnership with the Voices Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know, Mr. Paz, this interview will be placed in the University Library Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV and shared with the Voices Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. If there is anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there's something you want to talk about it, please bring it up and we can talk about it. The University Library Special Collections and Archives will archive your interview along with any other photographs and other documentation you are willing to share. UTRGV University Library will retain copyright and non-exclusive rights to the interview and any other materials you donate to Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting to make sure you agree with your interview procedures before we continue. I will ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree after each question. Do you give University Library Special Collections and Archives at UTRGV consent to archive your interview and your materials at the University Library?
Yes.
Do you grant UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives right, title, and interest in copyright over the interview and any materials you provide?
Yes, I do.
Do you agree to allow this interview to be posted on the internet where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes.
Do you grant the University Library Special Collections and Archives consent to share your Zoom interview with the Voices Oral History Center at UTRGV for exclusion in the Voices of the Pandemic Oral History Mini Project, which will be including posting the interview on the internet?
Yes.
Okay. As you recall, we previously filled out the pre-interview form. We used information from the pre-interview form to help in research. The entire form is kept in a secure Voices server at the University of Texas at Austin. Before Voices sends it to UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives, we will have stripped any contact information for yourself and family members, so that will not be part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible at UTRGV University Library. The 2 final questions ask for your consent on what I just described.
Yeah.
So do you wish to share the rest of your interview in the public file available to researchers at UTRGV University Library Special Collections and Archives?
Yes.
On occasion, UTRGV Special Collections and Archives and Voices receive requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you wish to consent for us to share your phone number or your email with journalists?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your consent. Your experiences and stories mean a lot to us here at UTRGV Special Collections and Archives. I look forward to what you have to say in the interview questions.
Thank you.
Okay. So before I start to ask you to share your stories about your life, tell us a little bit of who Alejandro Paz is.
Well, like you said, my name is Alejandro Paz. I'm 35 years old. I am a caregiver. I'm a provider for a couple of my family members. I am Hispanic, and I was born in Miami, Florida. And we moved over here to Harlingen, actually, in 1991 or 92 when Hurricane Andrew passed. And then I lived most of my life in Harlingen. Growing up, I lived pretty good. My mom worked hard every day to support us, what we wanted, what we needed. My dad, he was an alcoholic, but you know, I at that time I did not understand that it was a disease. He passed away in May 18, 1999, which was his birthday. I was 13 years old. Growing up, I lived a good life, but I chose the wrong path. I chose to go through rough roads instead of going the right. I started drinking at an early age. I started doing drugs at an early age. Drugs and alcohol consumed most of my life, my teens and my 20s. I I suffered a lot from drug use, um, and it was hard. It was hard because my mom was living the same thing as she lived with my dad. You know, I followed in his footsteps. I don't blame anybody for my actions. I don't think anybody has to do with what I went through or what I chose to go through. Um, you know, it took me through a wrong path, a rough path, where I ended up in prison. I ended up in um, jail and then prison, and I ended up being homeless. I took advantage of what was given to me and I didn't appreciate what my mom's hard work was for me and everything. Um, so I went through a lot, you know, growing up, trying to find myself, trying to find who I was, what I was, my purpose in life was, you know. But you know, that's how you know life is.
Mhm. So let's get into the pandemic and all that great stuff that's been going on the past year. So the first question is, when did you first hear about COVID and how did you learn about it?
First time I heard about COVID was through Facebook. I remember seeing posts and reading about this disease that was around, and I really didn't think much of it, but it was I that's how I heard about it first.
And what was your first reaction to the information about COVID-19?
Well, what I thought was, you know, it's just like any other disease, you know. I know Ebola is like, you know, West Nile and all these diseases, yes, but I don't think we've ever lived this much of a real bad pandemic. I really didn't think much of it at first.
At what point did you realize the pandemic was a serious life-altering event, or did you not take it as serious as it was?
At the beginning, when I started noticing that it was serious is when it got here to the valley. It started with one patient, and I think I remember that patient was from Ravenville. As a matter of fact, it just barely a year ago, a couple of days ago. He worked at a nursing home, and he was the first person that died. And at first, you know, okay, you know, one person, didn't think much of it. So
And over the last few months, what news media or social media or other sources did you rely on to keep informed about the coronavirus?
mostly the source that I used was CNN and Fox Live. Um, I would watch that day in, day out. And then Facebook too, I would post, you know, the first death. That's how I remember when was the first death and the few cases that were they were having here. And I relied a lot on the news media to keep updated with what was going on.
Can you tell me what you know about COVID-19?
Um, what I know about COVID is that it's a deadly disease and a deadly virus that does not discriminate. It takes people, whether they're elderly or young adults or young kids. You know, I know there's several variants that you know that come along with it, and and you know it's deadly, contagious.
Can you tell me what you know about the various vaccines available to the public and how do you feel about the vaccines?
Um, was I know there's three kinds of vaccines, which is the Moderna, the Pfizer, and Johnson and Johnson. I don't know much about it. At first, I was iffy about it, wanting to get it. You know, with the job I do, offered me the vaccine, but at the moment it was just too new for me that I decided not to take it. And now that I've seen that, you know, a lot of people take it, and I think it's the best thing for me and for my family, to get it. I think it's not 90, it's not 100% sure, but it's more probable that you won't, get infectious if I get the vaccine, which is what I want to do now.
Do your family members hold the same belief as you about COVID-19, or are there some who take it less likely than others?
I have some family members that just thought, no, man, what virus, and these were my family from Mexico, from Michoacan. Uh, they were like, no, there's no virus. It's all a lie made up by the government. And then I have my family members that, yes, that, were really cautious about it and did everything to prevent from getting the virus. But everybody have the different beliefs.
Has anyone in your family actually gotten vaccinated yet?
Yes, my aunt got vaccinated. A lot of my cousins got vaccinated. My mom got vaccinated.
And how were their experiences with the vaccine training?
Well, so my aunt, she had a sore arm for a couple of days. Both vaccines, the first one and the second one. My mom, she had nothing. She was good. She didn't suffer from fever or any pain or anything like that.
All right. And for the next set of questions, I'd like to talk about how you've seen COVID-19 affect your family members, friends here in Cameron County.
I had a lot of family that came down with COVID here in Texas and out of Texas. Um, I don't think we had any death in the family, but it affected us big with being around them, celebrating, or even just to get together when we go see each other. We live down the street from each other, and we couldn't go, or we couldn't have just leave stuff in the door. So it affected us pretty good. Not be able to communicate with those families face to face.
And I know you mentioned that you were a caregiver. So can you share with me more about your job and what it is that you do and what a typical day looked like before the pandemic?
I'm still a caregiver, and before the pandemic, it was taking care of the patients, feeding them, giving them a bath, changing them, cooking for them. Everything was normal. We didn't have to wear gloves. We didn't have to do well unless we were changing the patients or something. But other than that, it was normal. And once the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, we don't know who's safe. We don't know who's being real cautious about it. Wash your hands, take off your clothes. You don't know where they've been, and because it's family members, you think, okay, I know where they've been. I know they haven't gone nowhere. Like for example, my uncle, he's bed rest. I know he didn't go nowhere, but his wife, maybe, but I was still comfortable knowing that we were all taking care of each other, protecting ourselves. And that was something that the pandemic changed in how we looked at things, even if it's family members or not.
How do you how do how did the pandemic impact your work?
Thankfully, I was not without a job. you know I was able to work every day through the pandemic, so that didn't affect me that much. um it did affect if we somebody did come down with COVID. So if it was, they got COVID or I got COVID, then we have to stay away, or we can continue working. It was up to us really, since it's family members, whether we want to keep going. Since it's family members, I kept doing it because I was gonna be there anyways,
Mhm.
whether working or not working.
How much of an adjustment was working from home?
Um, Working from home only happened when they came down with COVID. For example, my grandma, she had COVID as well, and um, she suffers from dementia, and we had to keep her in a room. And she didn't know that we were trying to keep her safe and us safe from being. And she wouldn't understand that because of her dementia. but we will have to set a camera inside the room and make sure she's not doing anything she's not supposed to. And it was a big change because even if you're in the same house, you can't enter that room.
Yeah, it must have been really tough.
Yes.
Did COVID-19 change your view on your career?
It did change my view. You know, I don't we didn't have no death in the family, but we did have severe case of COVID, you know, and it changed my view on how I would see a patient, especially right now with this pandemic that we're not too sure if it's gone, if it's gonna go, or if it's gonna come back, you know, harder. We have to be careful since I am out of public. I'm out, you know, working and going to the stores or paying bills that I have to go do, you know, and I get close to other people. And like I said, you can never be too careful. So I need to make sure I'm really careful when I go into their house and I come back out.
When you did go work, um, how concerned were you about your own health?
I was concerned because I know if I would get COVID, I probably won't survive it. I am diabetic. You know, I was just diagnosed this past year as well, diabetic, and I have a bad health. You know, I smoke, so that really plays a big role in it too. And I was really concerned, trying to not get the virus.
And how did you deal with your family members who appeared to have symptoms?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
How did you deal with your family members who appeared to have symptoms?
Um, Literally, really, like at the when they would have symptoms, you know, it was around the common flu, you know, the common flu was around, and I really didn't think much of it because, for example, my aunt, whenever she went out, she wore gloves, she wore, you know, the mask, she wore a visor, and it was like, okay, like we're being careful, like we really didn't, you know, really, oh, it's just a cold, you know. Um, so I really didn't see him much, but we would try still and keep a distance for the main part. I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Where do you see the future of your career in these times?
Where do I see my future of my career? I see it. Um, you know, I started school right when the pandemic started, and I felt like it's a good time. You know, there's a lot of places that are closed. I get to be home. I'm gonna do this. I really didn't think that COVID would affect us at all to our family. You know, didn't think we would catch it or any of my family members would catch it. I would stay home. We wouldn't go anywhere because we were trying to be cautious. We didn't even go to the grocery stores because we were too scared to go out there. And you know, at the beginning, I thought, you know, okay, this is a good time to start school and start doing things, you know, to better my career.
What lessons, if any, have you learned during the pandemic?
One lesson that I learned from the pandemic is be grateful for the family that is around us still. Um, Love your family. Tell them that you love them more. Um, Spend more time with them. Don't let no any minute pass, you know, without being grateful for it. It really got us to closer together. You know, me and my mom, my sister, my family. So it was. It taught me a lesson. Showed me how to be humble. You know, show me that there's the death was happening left and right. You know, and I was grateful that death had not just yet affected my family. So it showed me how to be humble, how to be caring more.
And Alejandro, what inspired you to be a caregiver and help those who need it?
What inspired me?
Yes.
Um, my sister, she's a nurse. She's my idol. My mother, she's my idol as well. My sister's a nurse. My mom has done it her whole life. She would take care of the elderly every single day. That was her job, day in, day out. Um, that inspired me because I felt like it was in us. It was in us to be caring for other people. For example, I have my cousins as well. They're nurses, they're doctors, it's all with the medical field. And I felt that I would see them do it and encourage me to do it for others. For example, my dad also, he might have been alcoholic, he might have been this and that, but when it came down to helping somebody, he would always help them no matter what the situation was. He wouldn't ask questions, he wouldn't judge. My mom wouldn't either. They help people left and right. And that when I saw that growing up, I said, I'm the same point. I have the same heart.
How do you unplug at the end of each day to manage workload and avoid burnout, especially during COVID times?
You know, the beginning of COVID, which was, I think it started in March, where when I got here to the valley. Um, it was stressful. Had to do extra things that you don't normally have to do. Wear a mask when you go to the store. Wear a mask, and if you forgot it, you gotta go back and go get it. It was stressful. Trying to take care of patients with COVID also, and, trying to avoid from getting infected or carrying it on to somebody else. I might not get the virus, but I can still carry it in on my clothes or get my shoes or in my hands if I'm not careful. So it was really stressful. And the way that I would have wind at first was just watch a movie, watch a movie until finally I found something better in life to look forward to.
And I know your work is mainly taking care of your immediate family. So, how has your home life been during the pandemic?
Mm, it's been, I mean, like I said, I can be great. I'm grateful for everything. Um, I'm grateful for God taking care of us. We got family members that did good COVID, but thankfully me and my mom didn't, and I really appreciate that. That we got together, we got close. You know, um, it changed our life around in the way we look at life. But I think it was, I think it have it. I think the pandemic was a purpose. To value our family members, and it made it made people change how they looked at life.
Has your family been impacted?
Like COVID.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I have family members that did get COVID. For example, my grandma, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, you know um almost everybody of my close family got it, but not me, not my mom, and not my sister and my nephews. And but the rest of the family that are close to us did get it.
And what is it like to experience having someone so close to you go through COVID-19?
Well, like I was saying, how I'm a caregiver for my uncle, my aunt, and my grandma, and it was difficult. It was hard. It was frustrating because you knew they had COVID and you had to take precautions. You had to wear a gown. You have to wear those shoe things. I forgot what they're called. Gloves, the mask, N95 mask. You have to prepare outside to go inside to something that is really contagious, it kills people, and to put yourself in that situation, but you still have to do it because it's your family member. It was hard. It really did. Um, it, I literally would be so frustrated that I would try to stay as much as away, but when I have to go in, I have to put on that. When I have to come out, I have to do all that, change, take a shower, leave the shoes outside, and it was hard. It really took a toll on my job. Like it really took a toll to be able to handle that so much.
What hardships have you and your family experienced during the pandemic? It could be emotionally or even financially, or both.
Well, one thing that we did suffer from is that we had my grandma. She lives with us, and when she came down from COVID. I had to go with her to the hospital, and I had to stay the night there with her, watch her because she has dementia and they didn't have the enough nurses to stay with one patient all night. I didn't know she had COVID. I was in there for something else with her, and they did the test because they were going to admit her to the hospital. It was in an emergency room, and they said she was positive for COVID. So then I wasn't able to stay in there no more. But I had spent all that time in there with her and around her and taking her places without knowing. She didn't get no symptoms. That was the thing. You can't be too careful. Um, some people get symptoms, some people don't. And she went in and she stayed in the hospital, and that affected us because we couldn't see her. We couldn't be there with her. We couldn't call her, because she didn't know how to use the phone. Um, and we struggled with that with COVID and then with Hurricane Hannah at the same time when that happened, and falling behind bills, trying to get a hospital bed for my grandma. We had to the hurricane happened and we had to have to get light service on it because the hurricane had knocked down the power lines and debris, and we had to clear that out. Then I had to start falling behind on bills in order to take care of that first.
And how do you think the hospitals handled your grandmother's situation?
um I think they handled it pretty good. She was safe. She was eating. She was doing better. When she went in, she was going in for a small bowel obstruction, and they were thinking of maybe having surgery. But thankfully, she recovered. She was able to do her needs, and um, she got better on her own. But the only thing was that she had that COVID, and after COVID, while COVID, she also had a heart attack, but it was a minor heart attack that it didn't really affect her much, but it did affect her oxygen levels and stuff like that, which is she has to be on oxygen now. Um, but yeah, I think they did a good job taking care of my grandmother.
And how did the pandemic impact family traditions, custom, and holiday celebrations? For example, did you celebrate birthdays or Christmas differently? Did you have a Thanksgiving?
Um, I did have a Thanksgiving, but we didn't have a Thanksgiving. We had a Thanksgiving, but we really didn't have a Thanksgiving because not everybody you're thankful for was there. All the family member wasn't able to be together. My aunt was with her family. Me and my mom met with my sister, and we were all separated. We couldn't get more people the way we usually get together. One makes something, another person makes this. The desserts and stuff like that. Um, and Christmas was a life changing for the good. I think it's probably the best Christmas I've ever had. And not thanks for the pandemic, but thanks for being able to open my eyes to a better view on family and on people that can't celebrate Christmas or don't have the money to celebrate Christmas. This Christmas was a Christmas where um, I took how can I say it? Like it meant a lot for me, a lot to me. It was the best Christmas ever. I can't complain about it.
And since COVID, have you attended any weddings, graduations, or funerals? And if so, how did the pandemic make these events different from the pre-pandemic times?
I didn't attend any funerals till today, and even till today, we still have regulations that we need to follow. Counties, only certain amount of people. I think it's 50 people. But say you go with your family and you try to go sit with your family, you can't be close to each other. You have to be 6 feet apart, or they have some benches that were closed. You know, it's not the same. Not the whole family could be there now. You know, and you only have a limit of the persons that you can go, family or friends or anybody that was close to you. You know, you have to make a decision and invite who you I mean, not who you really want there, because you want everybody there, but just enough family members. You're on mute.
Oh my God. Sorry about that.
Yes, okay.
Um, do you have family out of the state or country that you keep in contact with? If so, how have they described COVID?
I do have family members, and for example, I have family member in Nebraska and Iowa, and a lot of my family members are from Mexico, so they have came over here up north, you know, to work, and they actually do the work that is really risky, which is the meat plants and the chicken plants. You know, they're so close to each other, they cannot be separated, and they were affected really, 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 really bad up north. You know, they had a lot of people in the meat factory, in the Tyson factory, whichever ones there was up there, get affected, and they couldn't do nothing, but they need the job, they had to work. Like, if you didn't go, you would get fired. You know, and I think, you know, they it was impacted really bad over there. And I have family in Mexico, like I said earlier, Michoacan. They were like, no, no, there's no COVID, there's no virus, it's all made up. And then finally, this past 2 months, it finally hit them, and people were dying left and right, and they were like, oh, like, you know, it's crazy that they have to wait till something or somebody gets the virus in order for them to make changes their mind.
And how have you been managing yourself during this time, and how have you been staying proactive?
um well, I at the beginning, but there wasn't really much to do, but I would watch TV, watch the news day in and day out. Like, literally was stuck on the news all day long. And until finally, you know, the holidays started coming around. You know, the holidays started coming around. Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving. You know, it was like, it was it was crazy because we couldn't do anything. We okay, no gathering more than five, and things like that. And I really didn't know what to do. So finally, I found something to do that made an impact in my life. It made an impact in my family's life. It made it impacted um, other people's lives, you know. And I will get to that later.
Um, um, I know you mentioned that Christmas was a very memorable moment, or this year was very memorable. Can you talk to me a little bit as to why it was?
Yes, of course, and I was waiting for this moment. This Christmas was the best Christmas, and I think it's one of the first Christmas and more to come about it. Um, I had came up with an idea, and I posted it on a group in Facebook, and I posted that I wanted to have a Halloween parade, or not, like, you know, go around neighborhoods, give out candies. You know, there was a lot of people saying yes, let's do it, but at the end of at the moment, at the last moment, we didn't go through it. And I had a friend, his name is Jay Rivera, and I came up with the other idea for Christmas. I said, let's get together, get some toys, and go give out toys in the neighborhood. And around in our community is small, and you know, we thought we would be able to get to everybody, but I said that's what I wanted to do, and then I didn't. I was, it was still ahead of time, and so I just started helping families, left from here in the community with donations of clothing, rent, light, water. But Christmas came around, and my friend Jay Rivera tells me, "Why don't you do what you said you wanted to do?" And I goes, "Don't just talk about it, be about it, do something, that you have great ideas. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna support you. Of course, there's gonna be people that don't and think bad, but just put it out there and do it." And I did. And finally, when I started this, I said, okay, I want to get together some toys, see if I can do some drop off boxes at different locations. And immediately I had some people wanting to join, be part of it. Um, so I got some people, Amy, Monique, and Gabby. They got on my team and said, yes, let's do this, let's go. We'll help you. Let's get the toys together. I had drop off locations for toys for a toy drive. It was our first annual toy drive, and we went out and blessed so many families, so many kids out in the community, that we went to the communities that I know would need it more than the others. We were able to raise 350 plus toys and 350 plus candy bags, and we also give about 350 of Christmas cookies, that a local supermarket here donated to us. And my it wouldn't be possible if the community didn't come together and do it. I dressed up as Santa. Amon dressed up as Miss Santa, and we went out and just, we couldn't have Christmas with families, but we tried to, and we followed CDC guidelines. Be cautious about, wearing gloves, making sure we had hand sanitizer, and giving them the toy so they wouldn't have to grab anything themselves. We didn't let nobody grab anything but us that were going around and giving. So that was my memorable, most best Christmas I've ever had. And I'm proud about it. I'm proud about it because I saw so many kids smile.
And was this done? I know it was done by you, but was there anyone else involved, or was there a specific organization that really helped put this together?
Yes. Before I did the Christmas giveaway toy drive, I had started a little project. It was a project that's out of my car. I had some team members that were on board with me. They were like, "Yes, let's do it. We'll pick up donations for you. We'll get them ready. We'll look for people that need it, and we'll help the people." And I would be the one that will go out delivering, groceries, anything. And I just started it. um it was my project. I called it my project Pay It Forward. I came up with the name, and the people that were supporting me and helping me, get this done, they got on board and like, yes, we'll do the volunteer work, we'll be with you here. If you can't go pick up donations, then we'll go pick up donations. And I called it the Project Pay It Forward. It was just a project, just like literally small thing that I came up with and other people came up with, that that became something bigger. It wasn't an organization. It was just Project Pay It Forward. It was just a group of people wanting to do good for others.
So tell me, what inspired you to start your own nonprofit during the pandemic?
When I would go around and helping families in need, and I saw how many people were in dire need, um, and the people that I got with me together and joined my little project, it slowly went growing. It slowly went getting people wanting to volunteer. You know, right now, like for example, I have Amy, I have Jackie, I have Denora, and those are my team members, and we all do a little bit of everything. And we have Kayla also that does application assistance. Um, what made me start doing this was because I had people supporting me, and I had the help and the support was overwhelming. I had all this donations that I had collected from families around the community and surrounding communities, and it just was stacking and stacking up in my house. And what made me start it was that because there's a lot of families out there that need it. They need the help, and there's places that don't offer that help.
How did the feedback from the community and help from volunteers encourage you to keep going?
The feedback was awesome. Well, there's always gonna be some people that are negative, but we just brush it off your shoulders. Um, we had um we had people giving us more stuff. I made a GoFundMe, and I forgot to mention that when I when I started this was because of what I went through that I explained earlier with the hurricane and my grandma having COVID and have to remove debris and stuff like that. That's what actually what inspired me to to do this for other families, because I went through hardships and trying to find a way of paying for my bills and trying to get what I needed for my grandma, and there was no help. There was help, little bit of help. Mostly, a lot of places were closed because of COVID, but the places that they did offer help was you need your bank statement, check stub, or and just a lot of requirements that they needed. It wasn't that I needed the help later on. I needed the help right there and then. You know, no questions asked. It's an emergency, and I need to get this done. I had to bring my grandma home, and this is what inspired me to do this for other families. We don't want to be wait to ask for help and have to wait for them to help us. I wanted that how you call it, that instant, if we can help you, we can help you. We can't help you, we can't help you. You know. So that's what inspired me to keep going, and um the people that joined me, like I said, it was down to Nora, Amy, Jackie, and Kayla. We all do a little bit of everything, and yes.
And I know you mentioned, or you're saying that it was hard at the time to get federal assistance. What assistance is offered at Project Pay It Forward?
What we offer here in Project Pay It Forward is we offer anything from financial assistance, which is any groceries, rent, light bill, water bill, anything that you might need financially, we can help you. But one thing that we do require for people to do is we want to help the people that are willing to help themselves. They don't want to handout, they want to hand up. We want to help people who are looking for ways and meanings to get back on their feet and be able to change what they're going through, or what the pandemic has put us through, as long as they're willing to help themselves.
And can you share with me the steps or process to start a nonprofit like yours?
The way I started my nonprofit organization was that, like I said, I had all these donations, and I had raised $4,000, helped several families, and the donation was so much that my house, one of my rooms in my house, and the outside of my house were just full of stuff, and it was overwhelming. I said, you know what, let me find a place. Of course, you have to invest money in order to make something, to do. And this is all done from my heart. The people that help me, is we don't ask for nothing in return. We just ask them to pay it forward. Um, what we did was we got together and looked for some sponsors. I just posted on Facebook and I asked for sponsors, whether to give us a small donation so we can make this a nonprofit organization. Once we got the enough funds for it, what we did was we contacted LegalZoom. LegalZoom is a place that helps you with paperwork for any kind of business, which is a nonprofit or a business or anything that they might, any kind of business you want to open. we paid them and they filed all the paperwork for us. Um, that's how we got our nonprofit corporation seal and certified in the state of Texas. And right now we're working on our 501c, which is already paid. And we're waiting for the IRS to give us that form so we can be able to go out and ask like HEB, Walmart for bigger donations. You know, as long as we have a 501c, they will help us out.
And since the organization was created, how would you say you have impacted others during COVID-19?
You know, it's like that. I don't know if you ever heard that poem or the little story. How there was a man walking in the on the side of the on the ocean shore. He was walking, and there was several little um starfish. There were several starfishes in the thing, so he would pick them up. He would throw it back in the ocean. He'll pick another one, throw it back in the ocean, and somebody came by walking, and they're like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "What are you doing? There's so many starfish. You're never gonna finish. You're never gonna make a difference." So he picks one up and he throws it in the ocean. He goes, "I made a difference for that one." So for me, it's it's the same thing. You know, a lot of people can say, "Oh, you can't help everybody." No, we can't help everybody, but the people that we do help is a life changing for them because they're grateful. They love what we do. They love what we did for them, and they come back and pay it forward. They come back and volunteer. They come back and donate. You know, once they're back on their feet or running or doing anything that they need to do that they couldn't do before, they give back to the community. You know, and that's one thing. I might not make a big difference, you know, in a small community, but I do make a difference for well, not me, but we as my team members, we make a difference in our community.
And has there been a particular person or family that has received help from Project Pay It Forward that has impacted you to continue on with the organization?
Yes. There was this family who lost their home in a fire right before Christmas, and they lost everything. You know, they almost lost their grandpa's life because he was asleep at the time, but he got a phone call right there and then when he saw the fire. He They lost everything, and we were able to provide for them a lot of items, whether it was clothes, dishes, furniture, anything that they needed, even some monetary donations we were able to raise for them, and we were giving it to them. And what made me see this and what I did, and because they came back and they appreciated everything, and I didn't find out till the end after we had helped them that they did not have insurance in their house. So it was going to be a completely lost cause, you know, for them. And we made a difference, you know, for that family, and we were able to take them Christmas as well, with our toy drive. So that really, just in general, any family that we've helped, we had family cry to us and be thankful they didn't expect us to go through with it. And just seeing their, that's how I wind myself after a hard day at work, after a hard time at home. I come to the office and I do things, and people come in and people need help, even with application assistance or anything that they might need help with, you know, and they're like, "Thank you so much. I don't know who I was gonna go through. You know, can you make a copy for me?" It was, we there's other places that they charge an arm and a leg. I'm like, "Well, we don't charge for you for anything, you know." Some people are during these hard times that they struggle and they can't make ends meet, and then for them to be charged for something that it's just a simple thing to do.
And what do you tell someone that has reached out to Project Pay It Forward, um, but we're not so quick to receive help? Where do you tell them to turn to now?
One thing we do is that like I said, right now we don't have a 501c. So what we make with all the donations we get, we sell them, and all proceeds that are made go out to helping families with financial assistance. You know, groceries, food, groceries, rent, light, water, or gas. You know, we don't like to turn anybody down. So For an example, when I just started this project, I had a family reach out to me, and they were in dire of a new roof. There was kids in the house. The front and another room were not accessible because the roof was so caved in that they were in fear that it would fall on them. So the whole family slept in one room, and I didn't have the funds for it. I had just started this, and I didn't have the funds with it. So I try not to turn anybody out if they need something. So what I did is like I just humbly asked on Facebook and said, you know what, um, there's a family in need. There's kids in the house. I posted a picture of the roof, and the house and what they needed, and what they needed. They had the material, you know. They just didn't have somebody to do it for them because they couldn't pay for the labor work. So I was able to get somebody that I had helped out, somebody that I helped out that volunteered to help with the roof. Not completely free, but for a small fee. He helped out, and that it actually helped that family out, and it helped him out because we tried to help him out to get on his feet, and that actually helped. So it kind of worked in a like in a recycling kind of thing. I just posted on the Facebook, and I said, this family needs a new roof, and they have this bunch of, they just don't have the money to pay somebody. So I was able to find them somebody to do their roof. And with the donations that families that saw that I posted, that they funded that purpose, that goal. So whenever somebody comes for help and we can't help them, we don't turn them around. We tell them what we want to do, put it on Facebook, make a little post, and to tell me a little bit about their life so I can share it, and then people will donate to their cause.
And how hard has it been getting donations to support your organization? And the donations you do get, are they just from where you're from, or they're just from all over the valley?
The donations, I want to say thankfully, thank God that we have not lacked any donations. Um, we get donations left and right, of clothes, dishes, shoes, everything you can think of. We get it, and we haven't lacked to keep our little thrift store full. And if anybody needs some clothes, we can always provide for them because we have all sorts and classes and sizes of clothes. Um, Monetary donations, they do come in, once in a while, but even if we don't get monetary donations, what we make from this, we help families out in need. For example, right now I have a family member that came, not my family member, but a family member of the community, come in and ask for some assistance for rent because she had to, there's things that happen at the wrong time. She has to get her residency, or renew her residency, something like that. So that came up in the month where she has to pay her rent, and since she's on disability, or whatever the case might be, she wasn't gonna be able to pay all her rent but half, because she had to get her residence because she doesn't want to get kicked out. So we are gonna be able to help her this coming Monday, and I think it's been really easy and steady, the donations that we do receive from the community. And I can't remember the second question you asked me about that.
Are the donations just from
The community.
yeah?
Yes. No, the donations that we do receive from anywhere in the valley. When we first started this project, we were focused on our community only. We wanted to help our community only. But we got so much support from family members and from friends and the community that we decided to expand. In February of this year, we expanded to help families anywhere in the RGV because the donations do come from everywhere. They might not all of them bring them here, but they will contact us tell us that they have donations, and we will take the time and pick up the donations, from people. And of course, we do wash the clothes, we do sanitize some clothes, we make sure we do the CDC guidelines in order to keep functioning the way we're supposed to.
I know you mentioned you used to store your donations in a room or outside your house. Since you started the organization, have you found an office or are you still out of your house?
No, I found an office. So I was able to raise money, um, some money, and I put in some money to get an office space. So what we did is that we went out looking, my team helped me finding a place, and finding someone that was willing to work with us because we were trying to make it a nonprofit organization. At that moment, when we opened the office, we weren't nonprofit, but because we needed to put an address of where our nonprofit would be at. So what we did is we found the place, we got the place, and then we finally were able to use the address from the office to start our nonprofit organization. So yes, we have a place now on our address. I just want to put it out there. It's 611 North Main Street, La Feria, Texas, 78559.
All right, thank you for that information. And I just have another question regarding your organization. Besides you, who else helped you run Project Pay It Forward?
I have my treasurer. Her name is Amy De Leon. I have my secretary, which is Jackie Tafoya. I have my board member, that is Tenora Ramon. And I am the founder and the director and president of Project Pay It Forward. And then I have Kayla, which does my application assistance. And I'm getting more team members on board to start helping us. Um, for example, I have one member that is her name is Sonora. She is certified for mentorship. So we want to start a class here as for mentorship once a month. I personally on my end, since I am a recovering addict and I've came a long way from being in prison, being homeless, being in the streets. I came a long way, and I want to start my own AA meetings here in my location. And then I have to, you know, I just want to make it a unique place, a unique nonprofit organization to help everybody and anybody that might need help.
And I see that you have a wall behind you.
Yes.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. This wall, I call it the wall of privilege. Um, the wall of privilege. This wall is people that we have helped out. We helped several families out. And this is a wall where we put it because and I call it the wall of privilege because we had the privilege to help these families. We had the privilege to become part of these people's families, and help them. We're not the kind of nonprofit that helps you and that's it. Forgets about you. No, we'll keep in contact. We'll contact you. We'll stay communicating. Knowing how you're doing, how you are. If anything's changed for them, if there's anything else we can help them with. We like to keep that communication. We like to be close to our community, and we like to be close to the people we help. For example, if I'm not here and somebody comes in and they need some kind of assistance, need some financial, I will take the time and go pay them a visit or call them or meet with them so I can get them to get to know them personally. Because, believe it or not, most of the people that we help, one of our team members have been in their shoes, and we can help them, in our own personal ways. We are able to help that person out.
And what is a long-term goal that you have for Project Pay It Forward?
The long-term goal that I have for Project Pay It Forward is I want to make it grow. I want to make it go long ways. I have other people from different cities here that want to be part. They do their own little uh, giveaways and things like that to to their community and stuff like that. We do too. For example, we're gonna have our first annual for the school supplies for our community, and we're gonna get together hopefully with the fire department and other places that they give school supplies, so we can all get together and give at that same day and same time. I have somebody in Harlingen that wants to join us, and I literally wanting to finish this, get my 501c, and spread it out to Harlingen. I have an office in Harlingen. I want to make Project Pay It Forward go on. I want it to be something good that came out of a small town.
And for those of you, for individuals and families that reach out to you, what do they need to actually receive help?
The requirements we do ask for is willing to help themselves. You know, don't we want somebody to come to us and be like, look, I am behind on this. I have this much. Can you help me with the rest? We don't like to turn anybody down. Like I said, we're also waiting for our 501c. We have funds available, but funds come and go because the only funds we have is from the things that we get, and then we help our families, you know, out there. So they can come to us. All the requirement we ask is that they're willing to help themselves, and they're willing to pay it forward. We don't ask for nothing in return. You know, we don't say, well, then when you help us, we help you. No, it's pay it forward to the next person.
And Alejandro, is there anything you would like us to know that I didn't ask?
Yes, I want to let y'all know that I'm thankful and I'm grateful for my mom, Maria Paz, for being behind me through everything, through thick and thin, in everything that I've done and everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm gonna do. I want to thank my team. My team has gone long ways with me. They've seen me in my goods, they've seen me in my bads. But the good thing is that we are a team and we come together and we give each other our support and advice to continue to do better. I want to thank the community for being so supportive about this. I also want to let y'all know that our location again is our address is 611 North Main Street, La Feria, Texas 78559. We do not discriminate in any religion, sex, race, or sexual preferences. We do not discriminate. You need help. If we can help, we will help you. I also want to share with y'all my office number, which is 956 277 0511, and my cell phone number, which is 956 202 6533.
And,
Also, our email address here is projectpayitforward20@gmail.com.
and your office is located in which town?
It's located in La Feria, Texas, right across the street from O'Reilly's.
Okay, and now just to close, I'll ask him some final questions regarding COVID-19.
Mhm.
Are you satisfied with the local response to COVID-19 in the Rio Grande Valley?
I prefer not to answer that.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the state response to COVID-19 led by the state of Texas?
No comment.
Are there any other stories or experiences you'd like to share with me that I have not asked you about yet?
I do want to share something with y'all. And this comes from my heart. And I just want people to know that no matter what we go through in life, no matter what we've done in life, there's always light there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Like I had mentioned a little bit about my story about, you know, turning into drugs, doing some bad things, things I regret, but I also thank God that I've gone through what I've gone through because it made me to the person that I am today. when I ended up in prison for the first, I ended up in jail, in and out, mostly all my 20s. When I finally ended up in prison, I made a pact to myself and to my mom. And I said, if I go into prison and I start doing drugs, I start drinking, because you can find that anywhere in prison. You can get that on your hands easily. And I said, if I can't stay away from this while I'm in prison, then there's no way that I'm gonna be able to handle it when I get out. Because it's a test in there, but the real trial is when we come back out, because it's everywhere. And I want to say that no matter who you are, no matter where you are at, no matter what you're going through, there's always a better way to go. And one thing we do offer here at Project Pay It Forward is to hear people out, to be there for them. And it's hard. It's hard to change your life around, but it's possible. And all through the grace of God, or any, I was able to come out of it. And there's a story that I really like that it's and I'm gonna say make it short. I don't want to take all the time, but um there was one time this drug addict that fell in a hole, and he wasn't able to get out. He would yell in the street and say, "Help me out! Get me out of the house, get me out of this hole." A doctor passed by and he said, "What happened?" I go, "I fell in this hole. You know, I can't get out." So he gave him money to buy a ladder. Then a psychiatrist passed and he stated, "Well, so I'll be back next week to see how you doing." But everybody that went by couldn't get him out of the hole. A priest went by and said, "You know what? Let me pray for you." But he prayed for him, but he never was able to get out the hole. And so another drug addict passed by and said, "Hey, can you help me get out of here?" And he says, "Yeah, yeah, of course." And he jumped inside the hole with him. And he said, "What are you doing? You just jumped in this hole. Now we're both stuck out of here, stuck down here." He goes, "No, I've been here before. I know the way out." So I like to share that with people, one drug addict can tell another drug addict, "I've been there. I can help you out." That's it.
Well, Alejandro, I want to thank you for your time. It's been great getting to know you and know a little bit more about your organization. I think you've played a great role in the pandemic by helping yourself and helping others. So I really want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for choosing me.